we've gone through the main work, the secondary work. And we've gone through the main work, we've gone through the agenda for this off season, what the goal is, what the objective is. Now we're going to go over the secondary work, but before we do that, show them the office real quick. Show them my Hulk poster. Show them the real life that is my desk, and that's just means that's real life. That. Okay, now we're ready. So okay, back to the board here. So this is basically all the accessory work that I have besides the big movements we went over. And again, since it's a rotating full body split, you know, again, you guys are going to see that some weeks I will front squat 3 times, back squat once. Next week's maybe the exact opposite of that. Again, there's a great deal of overlap. So what I felt would be best for this kind of setup is basically we have a grab and go type of thing. So basically all this needs to be done by the end of the week, and we have 7 days if we choose to, but again, since we really only have 4 days when we're using, I guess, the main movements, the ones we went over the last time. I'll link the video somewhere in the description if you're not caught up with that. What I do every week before I start, I kind of sort of get a feel for how the week is going to go and how I'm going to distribute all this volume. So again, as you can see, most of the volume is actually dedicated to this. So we have for back, we have hammer strength high rows, 4 sets of 8 to 12, pull downs, 4 sets of 8 to 12, dumbbell seal rows, 4 sets of 12 to 15, pullovers, 4 sets of 12 to 15, and then this year, which is a little different, 150 chin-ups. And again, so most of the focus, most of the extra volume outside of the big movements is going to go towards my back for this leg of the off season. So not too much for chest. I do have a little bit more delt work than I typically would have. I think for this leg, arms are going to kind of sort of take a backseat, although we are going to get to work on those. But again, this is the main priority. Lower body, not too much, I think anyways, especially not when you distribute that over 4 to 5 days. So again, usually the way it's going to look like, for sure I have 3 main movements, and then based on what I have, or what I did that day, I will just go through this list and pick a few. And typically, it's going to take me about 5 days to get all this done. And I like it. So it's a form of auto-regulation in a way, because if I'm feeling really good, if I just blew through the main movements, you know, I might do a little extra volume. I might pick, I don't know, 4 to 5 secondary movements. But sometimes it'll be, for example, a very harsh strength day, maybe later in the mesocycle when things are pretty heavy and I'm pretty wiped after that, and I just don't want to do any secondary work. So again, I like this setup. Again, I can take sometimes up to 6 days to get all this done, sometimes less, sometimes more. I've gotten really good at the chin-ups, although I think for this leg we're going to do it without any extra weight, because I've gone back and looked at some video, and there's a few that I still kind of cut short. So yeah, we're improving. So far so good. I really love the full body setup. I think for me it's a really fun way to train. It's not for everyone. So again, I'm not saying do this. I'm not saying anyone out there should do this. This is my setup. This is what I believe is probably the best approach for the immediate future. Of course, it's subject to, I think, change, or we might even redistribute the work a little bit more. I know later on you'll see a little bit more arm volume than I have right here. I mean, at this point, it's just 60 total sets between 60 total sets of direct arm work for biceps and triceps. But this is what we're kicking it off. So remember, 3 main movements, a few of these every day, and by the end of the week, I just have to make sure everything gets done. So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to start filming every training session this week, so you guys get an idea of how it kind of flows, because even then, I think it's one thing to just see it up on a board, but it's another thing to see it actually get done.